Good afternoon, everybody. Sapper here, aka Sean, and I have here MBT main battle tank on the table and set up, and I think I am just about ready to do this. This is the 3rd Armor Division, or parts of the 3rd Armor Division American versus the 28th Tank Regiment Soviet. And this is somewhere in Germany around 1987. So you can kind of see some of the pieces set up on the map, and I'll just kind of go over real quick what that all is. So here's basically the entire order of battle. So I've given some of the vehicles names, some of them I haven't. So we've got, I'm going to have to do the Americans first just because, well, they're Americans. So we've got the Mechanized Infantry Company. Headquarters platoon is commanded by Mo. And he has, so these black numbers here are the chit numbers. You get the chit numbers that you can see. So the last, there you go. So the last 3, so the 140 would correspond to the 140 right there. So that just helps me keep track of what vehicle is what vehicle. So we've got Mo. He's got 2, I think they're M2A1 Bradleys, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. And then he has a Fist, which is the Argus. We have the tank platoon that is being run by Ryan. He hasn't given me any names yet. Mo didn't give me these names. I just made the stuff up. Mo didn't even volunteer, but he got voluntold to be in command of headquarters platoon. So Ryan's in charge of these guys. He'll get back with me with the names. And then we have another infantry platoon, and this is being commanded by Jack. Again, he got voluntold. So we have 3 Bradleys and then 3 dismount squads. All right, he's got the Corvid, the Raven, the Crow, and the Rook. And then the last infantry platoon is being commanded by Gary. And we have the Dark Wing. We have Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So those are the NATO forces, and we'll kind of go ahead and show you. So the Americans set up over here, the Russians all set up over there. You can see the nice line of them right there. So here's Ryan's platoon of tanks and the 2 tow vehicles. So they set up on that hill. Excuse me. He set up on that hill right there, so he should have good overwatch basically on this whole part of the map right here. So he should have some pretty good overwatch. The weather conditions are clear, and it's also in daytime. So he should be able to see almost everything on that map. Now, once smoke starts happening and vehicles start getting blown up and they start being lit on fire and stuff, there will be some line of sight issues. But right now, the only thing that's really blocking his line of sight is you see these trees right here. So that will block some line of sight. And it looks like, so these trees right here will block some line of sight. That forest right there, that town right over there will be some line of sight blockers. But everything else is pretty much open. So again, that is Ryan's. And then we have, let's see here, headquarters platoon. So I've got the cubes tell me what platoon they're in. So as you can see right here, like Mo has the green cubes, Ryan has the red cubes, Jack has the white cubes, and then Gary has the blue cubes. So we've got Mo's platoon. He's got his 2 Bradleys. Yeah, and they are M2A1 Bradleys. The headquarters platoon, or excuse me, this is the headquarters section. It's marked with the blue bead to remind me that they're the headquarters element. They're basically in charge of the whole thing. And then they have their Fist back here, kind of hiding. It's on a hill and in rough terrain, so that'll provide a little bit better protection. Number 1 being in rough terrain, but also being on top of that hill too will help them out a little bit. Let's see who's next. We have Jack. Jack is going to be the reserve. So basically this whole area right here, this town, all that's those are victory objectives. So for every hex in the town is worth victory points. The capture of that bridge and the capture of that bridge are also worth victory points. So Jack he's in reserve right now. So he's got his 4 Bradleys. The squads are inside, so you can see down here, NATO mounted. I'm not going to put the counters on the vehicles unless they're dismounted. So once they dismount, then I'll put the counters actually out on the map. And I did the same thing with stupid glare. Did the same thing with the Russians. Basically, most people are starting mounted. The headquarters element for the mechanized infantry company is dismounted. And then we've got the Gary's platoon, which is right here. So he's got two Bradleys on that hill, which will be able to, so you're going to have good overwatch that way. Of course, that group of force is going to kind of get in the way, but you know, it is what it is, right? Not everything is going to be open desert warfare. And then his other 2 Bradleys are right here. So that is the setup for NATO. And now the setup for the Soviets, which was pretty easy because everything had to be on this side of this river. So we have, let's see here, we have I believe two platoons. Yeah, light green and yellow, which we have a tank platoon and then we have an infantry platoon. So the infantry platoon's on top, and then the tank platoon is underneath. You can have up to 6 vehicles stacked in a hex without any kind of penalty. So right now there's 6 vehicles stacked in that hex, and you can have 6 with no penalty. Each hex, I believe, is about 100 meters across. And somewhere in the book it says that, so that gives like an area of a hex like 6,000 square meters or something. So there's plenty of room to maneuver, even though it might look crowded. So then we have, this is, what is that? That's dark green. So this is the headquarters platoon. I gotta make sure I get you in the shot here. This is the headquarters platoon for the tank company. And then the company commander is represented by the red bead. All right, orange, Rob, these are your guys. So we have 2nd Tank Platoon, which is the hunter platoon, or in Russian it's the Okhotnik. So, and then your vehicles are individually named. So we have Bellatrix, Rigel, and I think it's Saif. I'll have to look that up and make sure I'm saying that right. But there's your 3 tanks, Rob. And then you have, there you go. That's your platoon leader right there. And so those numbers give bonuses to the certain roles and stuff. So we'll get into that a little bit later. All right, and then let's see, who is red? All right, so this is the 3rd Tank Platoon, 2nd Tank Platoon. Headquarters platoon is green. It'd help if I keep this stuff in focus. And then the light green is the infantry platoon. Then we have the motor rifle company, and the motor rifle company is all up here. So we have the headquarters platoon, which is blue, so they're underneath here, and then the red bead represents the company commander. Then we have the white cube, which that is a recon platoon, so it's basically just this one vehicle. We've got our Hind helicopter right there. There's also a tank platoon that's represented by the pink cube there underneath all that, and that's 3 tanks. And then we have black and brown, so then we have the 2 infantry platoons that are right there. So that is pretty much the setup. You have, so these right here represent pre-plotted places on the map that you can fire artillery without having like an observer or whatever. It's already something that's been pre-plotted. I think you still need an observer, but it's just easier if it's pre-plotted. So you have a medium artillery battery here, medium artillery battery that can pre-fire there. And then you have, the Soviets got 4 of them. So then you have a heavy pre-plot, heavy battery pre-plot here, and then a heavy pre-plot battery right here. And then NATO got 2, so NATO decided to pre-plot here. And then they also decided to pre-plot here. The pre-plots, those are something that's usually going to be hidden information. So that's just something that I'll have to remember to forget. During your turn, here we go. Let's just do that because that stupid glare, man. The glare is always going to be something that's a problem. These are the 4 different things, the 4 different commands that you can give. Actually, there's one more, which we probably will not utilize in this game. Yeah, so here's the 4th command. So the 5 different commands that you can issue a unit will be to move. So if you just want to move your guys, then you just give them that command. And these commands, you put them by your unit. So you would do something like that. You'd put it upside down, and you'd give each unit issue a command. Well, I mean, you're allowed a certain number of commands per turn. It's based on how many units you have. But you put everything hidden, and then everybody reveals them like at the same time or whatever. So it's kind of hidden information, but it doesn't matter. So you can do just a move, just a fire command. You can do overwatch. You can do a short halt, which is a fire and a move command. So you don't get to, you're going to have a penalty to shooting, and your movement, I think, is halved. And then you have a no command. So no command is kind of like a bluff. Let's say you put that on there just to fake your opponent out, saying, hey, I wonder what command he's got underneath there, and then it won't be anything. Basically, the overwatch command, you put that on a unit, and then if a unit moves into their line of sight during their movement, you can shoot at them. Normally you can't shoot at them you can't shoot at them just because they move into your line of sight. So the overwatch command will allow you to react to somebody moving into your line of sight during their turn. So there you go. There is the setup. I'll go ahead and get this posted. I might do a turn or two. And then once I do, it depends on how long the turn takes. Probably maybe just one turn. So maybe just do one turn, and then I'll get that posted. And then if you have any things that you would like to do, then you would basically have some time to react to the things that I've done. But anyway, I hope you enjoy watching, and we'll hope to see you on the next video.